Yeah. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School.
欢迎来到 Enjoy 英语学院
I'm Stevie.
And I'm Laurie.
Today we're looking at part 2 of our features lesson about the Amish people. Our article is called The Amish, a People Out of Time. And today we're going to continue with part 2. So we're kind of starting in the middle of the article. Yesterday we talked about the Amish being people who they kind of reject technology. They think it's not necessary for living. They like to have a simple life. They believe that simple is happy. And, they only use technology when they really need to. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to continue today with the article. We learned yesterday most of them don't have cars or trucks. They don't have computers. They don't have smartphones. But if they need to, they'll go to a doctor. They'll get an x-ray. They'll hire a taxi. Mm-hmm. And some of them have websites for their businesses.
That's right.
So it's not 100% no technology. It's just very little.
Because they are not anti-technology.
Right.
Mm-hmm. 好，所以呢，我们今天来到第2天了啊。这个专题特写的单元要来看到的，一样是这个脱离世俗的艾美许人。那么呢，刚刚呢 ，Stevie 老师已经帮我们简单的复习了。其实呢，艾美许人就是一个相信这个简朴生活，然后呢，拒绝大部分的现代科技，可是有用的他们需要的，他们又会保留下来。但简单说是这样那但是今天呢，我们要再了解更多关于艾美许人的这个资讯，所以我们赶着跟着 Stevie 老师来一起看一看吧。
Okay, looking at the first paragraph of today's article, we start out, as the rest of the world becomes more connected through the internet and digital technology, the Amish are staying mostly the same. This is just saying, well, as the rest of the world, while this is happening, as the rest of the world is moving forward in technology and using, everybody's connected through the internet. We all use digital technology. Mm-hmm. The Amish are staying, for the most part, mostly the same. They're not using all that if they can avoid it. Mm-hmm. 如果可以避免的话, if they can avoid it, A-V-O-I-D.
所以呢，我们首先来看到文章一开头是承接昨天嘛那么讲到了说呢，这个 the rest of the world 的话呢，是指这个剩下的世界的剩下的地区。那什么意思叫剩下地区？当然就是指艾美许人他们居住的地区以外的其他地区所以呢，就当这里的 as 就当什么什么的同时，然后怎么样怎么样怎么样，所以呢，这里的 as 是可以这样子去使用它的那么就在世界的其他地区呢，都因透过这个网络跟数位科技而变得更加的连结的时候这里的 connected 是连结的意思那么在这个的同时艾美许人却是这个几乎大部分来讲都保持着不变的，维持不变的。
The next sentence talks a little more about what we mentioned yesterday. It says some of their businesses may, that means could possibly, may have websites or social media accounts. But Amish people's everyday lives Amish people's everyday lives still consist of mostly farming, family, and church. So business-wise, they may, be a little more modern. Okay, but their everyday lives at home with their family and church is kind of staying the same.
好，所以呢，接下来这一句就去进一步的讲了这个也许呢，他们的这个企业里头有一些就是艾美许人的企业里头有一些是有网站或者是拥有呢这个社群媒体的账号的 但是啊，这个艾美许人呢，他们的日常生活，他们每天的生活中呢，依然是大部分由3件事情去组成的。哪3件事呢？就是这个农业啊，然后呢，家庭还有教堂所组成的。那这里我们看到的 consist of something 哦，就是由这个 something 来组成。那有时候你会看到 consist with something 的话，那就是与后面这个 something 呢相符合、相一致哦。这2个你可以把它一起背，都蛮常见到的。
We'll take a quick break and be right back with the next paragraph. Looking at the next paragraph, now we start talking about the problems that they face.
Ouch.
We just said that mostly their everyday lives are still family, farming, church. The next sentence, though, says, however, but in the advancing computer age. Okay, so as the computer age, as technology keeps advancing, it keeps moving forward. In the advancing computer age, their lifestyle is at risk. And in this case, usually lifestyle means your way of life. You know, the things you like to do, how you live. Well, in this case, their lifestyle is a huge part of their culture. So the computer, because of the computer age, keep moving forward, it's advancing. Their lifestyle and their culture, their whole way of life is at risk. There are some problems.
好，所以接下来呢，我们又看到 however 了哦，那表示呢，接下来的这句话要跟前文有所转折了啊。所以讲到，然而啊，在这个我们可以翻成日新月异的电脑时代啊，因为这里的 advance 是指一直前进的意思哦。advancing 的话，那当你的科技不断的前进，当然就是日新月异，改变的非常的快速这样的一个概念啊。那么在这日新月异的电脑时代呢，那么他们也就是艾美许人他们的生活方式啊，这正是呢这个面临着危险之中啊。这里的 risk 我们知道是危险啊，或者是风险啊。那当你加一个 at 在前面的时候，就变成是处于危险或处于风险当中啊。所以呢，这里呢他们的生活方式已经面临了危险了。
Now, how? Why is it at risk? How? Well, one part, the Amish are being forced to adapt to the outside world more than ever before, more than ever before in the past.
That's right.
Okay? We say they're being forced to adapt to. Well, even if you don't like technology, when you live in a world where it's all around you, there are a lot of things that you can't do if you don't use technology.
Yeah, that's very true.
And if you're doing something different from everybody else, it's very possible soon you'll be forced to do the same thing as everybody else.
所以呢，接下来我们看到这一句，他讲到说，那么是什么样的危机呢？所以他告诉我们，艾美许人呐，他们呢，等于是被迫这个 being forced to do something 就是被迫去做某事去怎么样呢？去比起以往，比起过去都还要更多的、更加的去呢适应这个外在的世界外头的这个世界。好，所以这里呢看到这个 adapt to 当你 adapt 的话是去适应去这个适合这样的一个概念。那跟另外一个字很像，叫 adjust。后面会出现那么2个都有适应的这个用法，那都一样在后面加一个 to， 再接一个 something， 那就是去适应那个 something 那同样的2个也都可以用 adjust oneself to something 或是 adapt oneself to something， 这个也都可以所以其实2个很适合一起背。
Basically, it means you have to change in some way. Yeah. So, they're being forced to adapt, okay? Some communities now have shared public telephones. So like in the community hall, there'll be a public telephone for people to call for emergencies.
That's right.
Things like that. While this means at the same time, some businesses are modernizing. Now, you know what modern means? 是现代, right?
对.
When you modernize something, that means you bring it.
You make it happen.
You make it become modern.
That's right.
So they're modernizing, they're following technology to establish an internet presence. Because now, in order to live, in order for your businesses to keep going, you almost have to be on the internet.
To let people know you.
Yeah. Or if you don't have money, you don't have a business, and you have no food to take home to your family.
That's right.
Yeah. So they're being forced to modernize because of technology and how other people live.
对，所以呢，接下来他讲到说了啊，那么有一些社群呢，他们可能有着这个共享的共用的这个公共电话好，逗点的后面 while， 而在这个同时呢有一些企业呢，则是在现代化中，然后呢，去建立一个这个网络上的存在。那所以呢，这是一个这个对比的概念前面还在共用一台公共电话所以呢，这个是比较不现代的部分。但是呢，这个另外一端的话，有些企业却已经到现代化到去知道建立自己的网络存在感。所以呢，这个是一个 compare 就是一个 contrast 一个对照的概念。
Yeah. As a result, because of this, many young people are leaving their traditional Amish communities for the modern world. See, these communities grow up together. They all have they do the same types of things. They marry with other people from the community. And now young people are growing up and, they have to modernize a little bit. And so a lot of them are saying, I like the modern world, and they're leaving the communities.
所以呢，这边我们看到的这个因为这样子的关系那么因此叫做 as a result， 那么呢，许多的年轻人呢，他们就纷纷的呢，这个离开他们的这个传统的艾美许的这个社群然后转而投向哪里？就用一个 for 来接后面，转而投入了这个现代世界的怀抱了。
Okay, we'll take another quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the article. The next paragraph says, as the world continues to advance, as the world continues to move forward in some way, the Amish it's possible, they may have no choice but to adjust further. So how have they adjusted? Now they have a community telephone. Now some businesses have internet sites. Well, they may have to adjust or make more changes, further changes, like it says.
所以呢，接下来我们来看到最后这一段这个讲到说呢这个随着这个世界持续的去这个前进持续的去进步这样子的一个同时我们看到 as 是这样，那么通常前面这件事后面这件事它是同时发生的，所以呢也就在世界持续的进步的同时呢，艾美许人他们恐怕这里的 may 我们可以翻成也许恐怕可能怎么样呢 have no choice 没有任何的选择 but to 而只能所以这是一个固定的一个片语用法没有选择而只能怎么样呢？更进一步的 further 是进一步 adjust 是调试调整的意思那么这里的 adjust 我们刚刚有提到跟前面的 adapt 一样，它有一个用法共通的用法之一都是使适应的意思，但是 adjust 本身还有另外一个用法就是调整所以必须做进一步的调整。
And another example of why they have to do this, American businesses are starting to move away from cash towards digital transactions with smartphones. So more and more American businesses they're not using cash anymore. Of course, a lot of these for now are online businesses. Now you can use things like line pay. You know, there are some businesses that are now saying, oh, we don't take cash. We take credit cards. We take line pay.
对
We don't take cash. So, and of course, if you're doing things online, shopping online, you have to use digital transactions with credit cards or smartphones. So that's changing.
所以接下来他就开始讲这个其中一个可能他们不得不进一步调整的例子了嘛所以就提到说呢，美国的这个企业啊，他们正开始叫做 are starting to 正开始怎么样呢 ？move away from A to B， 那就是呢这个由 A开始转为 B 的意思那么他们开始由怎么样？由现金的交易呢，转为使用智慧型手机来进行的数位交易了。这里我们看到的 transactions 就是交易的意思。
Also, the next sentence, modern communications tend to revolve around messaging apps and emails, which means that it is increasingly important to be online. So modern communications, how people communicate, tend to, this means they usually revolve around, this means this is what they use. This is the circle of things that they use. They revolve around messaging apps and emails, which means that it is increasingly, it's more and more important to be online.
所以接下来这句讲到说呢，那么现代的通讯往往是叫做 tend to 倾向于怎么样呢？以什么为中心？叫做 revolved around something 以呢这种通讯的软体还有电子邮件为中心。那么这也就代表了这个能够上网to be online 呢是越来的越重要了。
Many Amish communities are worried that they are worried they will lose their way of life to a more connected future. Now, this phrase, lose to somebody, okay? This Team A lost to Team B. Well, in this case, the Amish people are worried they will lose their way of life to a more connected future, an advanced computer future.
所以呢，接下来这句他讲到说了这个许多的艾美许的社群他们都担心着，他们将会呢这个因为他们的这边我们要开始先翻呢，他们的生活的方式将会输给了一个更加连结的未来所以刚刚有讲到这个 lose lose to B 所以呢就是这个输给了后面这个，那所以呢相比的两个，一个是他们的生活方式，一个是更加连结的未来，那么 A 输给 B。
Yeah. So if the Amish lose their traditions, it seems like everyone, all of us, may lose a little piece of world culture because they are unique.
对，所以呢，最后这一句讲到说呢，假如这个艾美许人呢失去了他们的传统的话，那么所有的人看起来，每一个人看起来好像也都呢会这个失去这个世界文化的一小部分所以这个因为都是刚刚讲到的 unique 就是独一无二的。
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have a very quick, small little review. Okay, for a quick review, I want to help students with some English usage. There's a sentence we have here that said, as the world continues to advance, the Amish may have no choice but to adjust or change further, change even more. Well, I want to mention this phrase, have no choice but to do something. This usage is very formal. And we would use it in writing. We would use it in like court, maybe.
Okay.
But if we were just speaking, we would never say, I had no choice but to punish you. If we were forced to do something, or we felt like we had to do something, we would say, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had no choice. We wouldn't say, I had no choice but to do it. You know, that sounds very formal.
So you're acting.
Yeah, so if you want to use this, say, Teacher, I'm sorry my homework was late. I had no choice. My dog ate it. That's a lie, but...
Of course, we know that. Who doesn't know? OK, 所以这里的话呢 Steve 老师是跟大家补充了一个用法上的小提醒啊，所以呢比较正式的或者是你在写作的，你会用这一个 have no choice but to，但是如果你是在口语一般讲话的话呢，你就可以用I had no choice， 然后呢我怎么样这样子的一个用法上的差别。
Yeah, just a little simpler usage. That's all the time we have for today. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
第26页专题特写，脱离世俗的艾美许人。
The Amish, a people out of time. As the rest of the world becomes more connected through the internet and digital technology, the Amish are staying mostly the same. Some of their businesses may have websites or social media accounts, but Amish people's everyday lives still consist of mostly farming, family, and church. However, in the advancing computer age, their lifestyle is at risk. The Amish are being forced to adapt to the outside world more than ever before. Some communities now have shared public telephones, while some businesses are modernizing to establish an internet presence. As a result, many young people are leaving their traditional Amish communities for the modern world. As the world continues to advance, the Amish may have no choice but to adjust further. American businesses are starting to move away from cash towards digital transactions with smartphones. Modern communications tend to revolve around messaging apps and emails, which means that it is increasingly important to be online. Many Amish communities are worried they will lose their way of life to a more connected future. If the Amish lose their traditions, it seems like everyone may lose a little piece of world culture.